Welcome to today's deep dive. I want you to imagine installing this state-of-the-art security system in your house.
Right, to keep the bad guys out.
Exactly. You want to keep intruders out, but what if it malfunctions, bolts every single door, and actually traps you inside without any food or water?
I mean, that is just a terrifying scenario.
It really is, and it perfectly captures this mind-blowing phenomenon we're unpacking today. Our mission for this deep dive is to explore something our sources call the survival paradox.
Specifically looking at how it relates to ARFID, which is Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder.
Yeah, because we're looking at notes that show how the body's most fundamental instinct, survival, can tragically sabotage itself when someone is in a high-stress living
Right.
situation.
It is just this tragic irony, really, because I think people often mistake ARFID for like severe picky eating.
Right, like someone just being fussy.
Exactly. But when you look at it in the context of someone living in an incredibly unsafe environment, well, it's not about food preference at all. It is a biological defense mechanism that's basically turning on its owner.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because on the surface, this feels completely counterintuitive. The most basic biological drive any living creature has is just to eat and stay safe.
Yeah, fuel the body to keep going.
Right. So if someone is in a high-stress environment, say, one of our sources mentions a house literally infested with mice.
Ugh, yeah, just awful.
I totally get being on edge in that situation. Maybe you lose your appetite for an hour or two. But ARFID involves prolonged chronic restriction. How does an environment like that cause the survival brain to literally shut down the functions needed to live?
So to make sense of that jump, you have to look at the nervous system, specifically the clash between your sympathetic and parasympathetic states.
Okay, the fight or flight stuff.
Exactly. When someone, especially someone with intense sensory issues, is living in a home with, say, a mice infestation, their threat detection system just never gets to turn off.
So the internal alarm is just constantly blaring.
Yes, the sympathetic nervous system locks them into this state of chronic arousal. It is perpetual fight or flight. And, well, digestion is a parasympathetic process.
Oh, rest and digest, right.
Right. It physically requires your body to feel safe. If that alarm is always blaring, the body just cannot dedicate resources to digesting food. It diverts like 100% of its energy to monitoring the environment for threats.
Which makes sense for losing your appetite temporarily. But ARFID goes beyond just, not feeling hungry. It's an active, intense avoidance. How do we get from diverting energy to the brain actually treating the food itself as the enemy?
Well, this is where the survival paradox really takes hold. The brain becomes so heavily overloaded by external threats.
The mice, the smells, the scratching in the walls.
All of it. The general lack of safety is so overwhelming that the brain's categorization system actually breaks down. It's taking in way too much threat data.
Wow, so it misinterprets where the danger is coming from.
Exactly. The brain says, okay, we are under attack, so everything coming in is a potential threat.
Mhm.
And to protect the individual, it essentially starts categorizing food as poison.
That is wild. So
Yeah.
their internal monologue isn't, oh, I don't like this texture. It's literally, if I eat this, I will die.
Precisely. The body triggers a complete refusal mechanism. The nervous system just clamps down to protect you from this perceived poison.
Completely blind to the fact that it is actively starving you.
Right. It's a total system overload.
Which brings us right back to that vivid analogy from our sources.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally like a security system that locks the doors so tightly that the owner can't even get in to get water.
It is such a grim irony. By desperately trying to protect the person from perceived harm, the defense mechanism is fatally backfiring. It's actively causing the starvation.
It completely reframes ARFID, doesn't it? When you view it through this survival paradox and high-stress context, it just demands a deep, deep empathy from us.
It really does. These individuals are not just being difficult. They are fighting a literal physiological battle against their own survival instincts.
Yeah, a biological system designed to keep us safe, just catastrophically backfiring. It makes you look at our internal defense mechanisms in a totally different light.
Oh, absolutely.
And, it leaves you with this lingering thought. If our survival brain can mistakenly lock us out of our fundamental physical need for food just to feel safe, what other essential human needs might our internal security systems be accidentally locking us out of today?